People versus Jones Phone.
The judge has indicated that he will grant a joint trial in March 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015.
That means the June date for Ms. Rice is off.
Yes. Yes.
Is that agreeable with everybody?
Yes.
And everybody sort of heard the discussion I hope we had relative to the concerns I have about being prejudicial?
Yes.
Okay, you're okay with going ahead?
Absolutely.
Do you have all of them ready?
I did it now.
All right, I'm extending the orders of protection I'm reissuing as follows. Each one of them will go out to July 12, 2015 unless sooner amended or terminated by this court. And it's going to direct each of you to stay away from Greg Semmel, his home, school, business, place of employment, refrain from communication or any other contact by mail, telephone, email, voicemail, or other electronic or any other means with him. Refrain from assaulting, stalking, harassment, aggravated harassment, menacing, reckless endangerment, strangulation, criminal obstruction of breathing or circulation, disorderly conduct, criminal mischief, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, forcible touching, intimidation, threats, or any criminal offense or interference with him. It will specifically permit you to participate in organized activities upon the premises of the employer, the protected person, but only pursuant to the terms, conditions, restrictions, and area delineations specified in a valid permit issued by the town of DeWitt for such activities, and under the specific condition that you do not restrict in any manner access to or from, in other words, ingress or egress, any of the entrance ways to the premises of the employer or the protected person. Mr. Orkin, do you understand those terms?
I do.
All right, now I need all the names. Ms. Rice? Ms. Rice, do you understand those terms and conditions?
Well, yes, except I don't know where he lives. And are you saying I can stay in a free speech area whenever I choose to?
As long as it's in the permit delineations. Like the one on the 27th, there was a permit issued by the town of DeWitt. It had an area designated. It was roped off, I believe.
Well, I'm speaking about that free speech area that's in front where people go every other week with signs and so on.
I'm not
I can
familiar with
stay
that.
there.
Is that across the street?
That's across the street, yes.
I've already said, this is where I disagree with Judge Brunetti's ruling in the other matter, which is not, in my opinion, necessarily binding on these cases. But I disagree with his ruling that if I had put in a 500-foot delineation, that would have cured the vagueness in the order. 500 foot is about the distance of the carrier dome. You wouldn't have been on that street. And I've already told you that if you're across, if you got a permit, you can be on the premises as delineated. If there's no permit, as long as you're not on the property itself, I don't consider it a violation.
Okay.
So across the street is okay?
Yeah, but, okay. And clearly you can't block any of the entrances. Okay, do you understand those terms and conditions?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, and then I had, who did I have next? Ms.
Butterfield, Ms. Plume?
Ms. Plum?
I'm Joe.
Did you understand those terms and conditions?
I understand what you read, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
and Ms. Barfield?
I understand that it is totally absurd to read that litany of violent acts against totally nonviolent people when the person claiming he feels threatened has massive violence at his fingertips and visits that violence on people on the other side of the world, peasants who have no animosity toward us until we kill their children. It is absurd and offensive, but I understand that that's what the system's going to do to us.
Okay. Do you understand what I've read the terms to be?
Absolutely, sir. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Each of you, I just want you to understand, if you violate those terms and conditions, it'll may be a contempt of court. Depending on how it's violated, it could be a felony charge, and if convicted of a felony, you could be looking at state prison. Each of you understand that? Mr. Orkin, do you understand?
Oh, I do, yes.
Who did I go to next? Ms. Rice? Do you
I understand what you read, I understand what you just said.
Okay, Ms. Plume?
I understand what you read. I
And Ms.
understand what you
Barfield.
just-
I understand the threats against us, yes, sir.
Now, Judge, for the record, I want to, just for the record, object to the extension of the order of protection. These folks are completely nonviolent. They're not a threat to the base or to the commander. Almost a year has passed since the demonstration. They haven't engaged in any threatening or violent conduct, nor would they, nor will they. It seems that this is unnecessary. And in our opinion, it does violate their First Amendment rights. And I know you're aware of the decision of Justice Brunetti, and that you...
Which is on appeal right now.
But
And to be honest with you, if you've looked at that decision, he did not address the First Amendment issue either.
that is true.
And in addition, my understanding that in preparation for that, my understanding is there are very direct on point Supreme Court of the United States cases regarding First Amendment rights on military installations.
Well, the Supreme Court has just come out, as Your Honor is aware, with a new decision about First Amendment rights, whereas the law has been that actions are not covered by the First Amendment, it's not speech. Now the Supreme Court has ruled that giving $1 billion to any particular candidate is speech. And so...
I'm not saying they're consistent decisions, but, you know,
My clients understand, Your Honor, but we respectfully object.
I understand. I'm noting your objection. I'm also noting the district attorney's objection to the language I've included in these orders of protection. He objected to that earlier. That being said, I am going to ask each of your clients to sign indicating they're receiving a copy of this.
We have to sign it.
Well, you don't have to, but if you don't, you're going to be bound by it anyway.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yes, I know
understand that,
that.
so I'd rather not sign it, but...
Right, who's okay with signing and who doesn't?
I sign it.
Okay, you're Mr. Orkin.
I got my own.
And who else, does anybody else wish to sign, or are they refusing all three?
Yes, I am.
I'd rather not.
No, I'm not going to sign it.
And taking it that everybody else is refusing to sign?
I believe so, Judge.
Do you need copies of all that?
I'm sure that issue is going to be addressed on one of the appeals of the prior.
Is Professor Schifrin appealing, or the DA is
The
appealing?
DA's appealing that, but I doubt, everybody seems to feel that that issue may not be reached, because you still got the first issue of whether there was jurisdiction. And everybody's guessing the appellate division may just look at the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But there,
Copy for Mr. Orkin, one for his attorney.
on all four, oh, okay.
I mean, I got
Orkin and
copies for the
serving,
file.
Orkin and providing his attorney a copy of the same. There are appeals that were filed, notices of appeal at the last trial, and that issue may be raised on those appeals, so we'll see what happens. Ms. Rice, Ms. Rice
Right here.
is serving her with a copy of it, providing counsel a copy of the same, of the order of protection.
Your Honor, if Mr. Semel leaves, then this order of protection is over. Is that correct? If he
That's
gets
correct. That's
Good.
correct. And Ms. Plume, and serving Ms. Plume with a copy of the order of protection, providing counsel a copy of the same. And I'm serving Ms. Barfield a copy of that and providing counsel with a copy of that order of protection. Anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see you in March.
I really appreciate this.
Okay.
Yes, we appreciate
Thanks for the
the,
consolidation.
joint here.